We are back on the show. John Pollock alongside John Ramdeen and Robin Black going through some of the highlights from this past weekend. 2 cards from the UFC, one in Belfast, Northern Ireland, the other in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And we got to see a number of prospects. And we'll start with one that I don't even know if we consider him a prospect at this point, and that's Thomas Almeida, who bounced back. This guy headlined a card back in May against Cody Garbrandt, came out on the losing end of that, the first loss of his pro career, and taking on a guy in Albert Morales, who I think these two had a very entertaining first round, but this felt very much that Almeida was a significant favorite in this fight for a reason. But did he impress you coming off the loss to Garbrandt?
He did, but Morales, he came to fight.
I know.
He came to win. He was hunting Almeida down. He had an opportunity here, and I love the mindset. I mean, Thomas Almeida's just fun to watch. This is what he's good at.
His speed is incredible.
Yeah, it's just everything, mixing it up, going high, going low. He just wants to hurt you, and I think that's what, if there's a certain fan base that's what they want to see, and Thomas Almeida is going to be their
guy. And you can see with that style why a veteran like a Brad Pickett was able to catch Thomas Almeida, because he does leave those openings. He takes risks in fights, which is entertaining, but also very risky, Rob.
Yeah, the old Sap Almeida scale. He was winning and knocking people out and earning bonuses and getting bloodied up and having awesome times in those fights. But all of those, so he was winning despite the failures of his game. And the failures of his game, he moved straight forward and he moved straight back. He blocked punches sometimes with his chin, and he knew that he hit a little harder than you and a little more, so you'd probably fall down. That loss was so important for him. And Brian Stan had done a lot of talking to him, and Brian came back and said he's been working on his footwork. He's been working on taking different angles. He's been working on advancing, evolving, and growing his game. And he won the fight, but he didn't do any of those things, right? So it's cool. These things will matter in 2 fights or 3 fights. All you got to do is keep winning and keep growing. And he looked fantastic, and the fight was super fun, and I'm really happy for the kid that he won, but he didn't do any of those things.
So the idea, though, after the Cody Garbrandt fight is you have to retool things. You're not guaranteed to be able to use those tools the next time you step inside of the cage.
And I think that's it. You don't judge the situation by how did it work? How did 4 months of me thinking differently make me a different fighter forever? It won't. Those 4 months of thinking differently will shape the branch of your tree that you're going down a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 fights from now, and we need to win in the meantime. It's an interesting experiment in how we do retool these fighters for this new era of fighting. If you were built a certain way, one route is we take you backwards and then regrow you. So you come back down, go back to the fork in the road and go this way. The other is we keep you doing what you're doing and slowly change you. And it seems that's Almeida's approach. And he got the win, and he got another bonus, and he keeps improving. So job well done.
In the cases of Stevie Ray, Kevin Lee, and I'd add Kamaru Usman to that list, all of them getting victories, and then in their post-fight interviews, trying to make big statements to get attention. Usman challenging Damian Maia, Kevin Lee calling out the entire lightweight division, and then we had Stevie Ray, who kind of just said, listen, Ross Pearson's a really quality fighter, but he's not getting better, and I want to be fighting better competition. He took this fight on short notice. Of those names, were there any that stood out to you, John?
Again, I love Stevie Ray's performance, and Robin and I were talking about it, that anybody that looks at Ross Pearson's record, they just don't understand that this guy's going to give you a hell of a night. And Stevie Ray certainly understood that and it was a valuable lesson that he learned in this fight with Ross Pearson.
Gatekeeper is often like this negative term.
Yeah.
To me, it's like that's a pretty solid measuring stick of what side of the coin you're going to be on a division, and Ross Pearson kind of typifies that. A very entertaining fighter. This guy will never fight for a championship, but someone that, hey, a Stevie Ray, you beat a Ross Pearson, you've got people's attention the next day.
Becoming a gatekeeper is a great accomplishment in your life when you set out to hopefully become a professional fighter and then hopefully work your way up to the UFC and then hopefully get a win. To grow to the level of gatekeeper is a great accomplishment. So and for Stevie Ray to win that fight, it's a beautiful thing. But right now, Stevie Ray won that fight the way that people are winning fights right now, which is make you go outside of range 4, that kicking range, to range 5, and use kicks to make range 4 really hot. So you stay way out there because you think it's safe. I hit you as you enter my kicking range, and then you get aggressive and try to come in. That game's working, and everybody needs an answer to it. And unfortunately, people don't find the how. They find the what. You go, what do we need to do? Oh, well, we need to penetrate in, and we need to get into this range. That's what to do. We know what to do. The answer is we got to know how to do it. And how to do it involves how do you train that? What games do you create in the gym? How do you spar that? Is this a repetition thing? Is this an environmental thing? The coaching staff of these gyms out there don't necessarily know how to solve this problem. They know what to do, but they don't know how to do it.
Cool. As well, before we wrap things up, let's touch upon Claudia Gadelha, who bounced back, got the win over Courtney Casey, and one of the stranger sequences in a fight where we saw what appeared to be an illegal kick to Courtney Casey, and in the replay, definitely in dispute as to whether this was a kick to the face or a kick to someone's ponytail. Come on, John. I was looking for you to give us some analysis.
What I look at is, for Gadelha, you need to get a win here because we heard Dana White talking about that she possibly will get the next crack at 115 pounds for the championship. So you can't.
Do you think he had realized in that moment when he said that they fought twice already?
I understand that, but who do you have? Who is the list of fighters?
I want to see her fight Carolina.
So yeah, of course.
There's Jessica Andrade.
Sure.
She's in that conversation. You're right. Gadelha,
You're running out.
A third fight with Gadelha is certainly not out of the question. It's possible.
Especially because you saw how good she looked in the earlier rounds. Joanna was able to readjust and won the later rounds. Is that something that Gadelha just has to address?
Yeah, well, see, I mean, you need to first win. And these days, for whatever reason, whatever cultural reasons we have, you also have to do something else. Somehow they put a microphone, and we're going to judge that. Kevin Lee decided that he was going to focus on that. I don't know if that worked. The thing that people got to understand about almost anything is the scarcity principle. If everybody's saying, I'd like to thank my team, I'd like to thank the man upstairs, I put on a great performance, and you come out and you do crazy shit, that will get noticed. But as soon because it's scarce, and if it's scarce, it's valuable because it's rare. If everybody starts doing that, pretty soon it'll be scarce to just go, I want to thank my team, and be humble and be a humble martial artist. So this thing doesn't go on forever. It gets to the point that everyone does it, and then humility will be cool again.
All right, that does it for us. We are done talking.